it's Matty Trump at mixandmastermysong.com. Today we are going to go over how I use the Softube Console 1. Now, some of you guys have been hitting me up asking if I'm still using it and if I like it, and the answer is yes, 100%. I love it. But I thought it'd be cool if we actually went through one of my sessions and you could see how I'm using it. So today we'll just hop on in and go through some of the settings I'm using on kicks and basses, and I think I got some guitars in there, as well as vocals. And just, now that you can use the UAD plugins with Console 1, it's opened up a whole new world to me, and I use UAD plugins a lot. And so you can see kind of what plugins I'm using for what instruments and kind of how I have things set up. So hopefully this video is helpful for you guys. Let's jump in and check it out. So we'll jump right in here, and as you can see in this session, I have my Console 1 on just about every single track, all the way down. I always start the session and just load it all in. If you see my template video, you can see that how I have things organized. My drums, my bass, there's a lot of bass stuff going on in this mix. The guitars, which here all the music stuff's green. I changed these colors a little bit, just different shades of green for guitars. And then synths and some sound effects and horns I had, and then lead vocals were pink. So basically I set it all up, and I always start with the SSL 9000. I just like the way it sounds. It's a little more broad stroke to me than the 4000, but as you can see, I customized the way mine opens up. I have the 4000 dynamic section because you get the shaper, the sustain and punch, as well as I like the gate. And then on this, I switched the EQ to the UAD API. So for instance, this is our kick drum. And I use the API EQ. And then to do that, all you got to do is hit shift, and then your EQ, which is the yellow tab up here. And whatever UAD plugins you have, I happen to have quite a few because I'm a plugin junkie. But I have the UAD API 550A. And so I just had that selected. All I did, I think it reset what I did here, but I probably didn't do much, or maybe I didn't do anything, because a lot of times I tend to leave the tracks basic and then do my work on parallel buses. But that's the kick. Let's see what I had going on the clap. The clap, I just boosted some high end, and once again I used the API 550 EQ for this. It was 4 dB at 10K. Nothing else, nothing else there. But the cool thing is if you don't know, this is kind of like everything's broken down here. So right here is our low cut section. See, if I turn the low cut goes. Then I got my gate section here, on, off, gate. EQ section here, and it breaks down perfectly for each UAD plugin you might use. And then your compression section here with threshold, release, attack, ratio, and then wet dry for parallel. And then the cool thing about the 9000 section, and I believe they have it in the 4000 too, but is this drive, which will give you some harmonic distortion and just kind of give you more of the console type sound. And the Class A one, which is like the 1073 Neve, has the drive as well. So it's cool. It really gives you some warmth and punch and a little more distortion if you need it, just to cut through the mix. And so there's that. And then let's see, the bass, I got what did I use? So it starts off with the 9000, and then I have the Chandler Limited Curve Bender I'm using here. And you can see what we got going on. So we have this bass. Of course it stops when we're trying to play it. There we go. So real basic stuff. Just boosting a little bit of low end, cutting out some of the low mids that I wasn't liking in here, and pushing a little 3K to have it cut through some more. I love this Chandler limiter just for doing that. It's just like it seems like 2 dB is like 4 dB, but thing's awesome. And then the sub bass, I got nothing going on, but it's just on there if I need it. And then I had the little labs. I'll show you really quick with this sub bass, if it's playing the same. So there's not, the sub bass worked fine for this song, but if I needed it to cut through more, you can bring up this drive. And it adds some real nice distortion on there. And I believe right is third, left is second. For the harmonics, and that works great. And if you want, you could try, we could load up, which one do I use? The preset. And then I have a bunch of my presets here. So you just click preset and then user, channel strip, class A. And I got the Matty Trump British start right there. And let's see what this one sounds like. So you can play with the character, and that kind of changes the sound of the drive too. This one sounds awesome. So pretty cool. I use that a ton. I didn't really use it on this song because it was kind of a clean mix, but I use those drive knobs a lot. Everything else is probably the same. Not sure what else I used. Mostly, these are probably not doing much. A lot of these got edited in the bus section. Yeah, so if anything, a lot of times I'll just have these on here to low cut if I need to. See, the guitars are all going over here. And then here, I'm using just the SSL EQ. That's about it, a little bit of low cut. So that's the guitar bus with some other stuff going on there. Also had, the Chandler Zener on there. Okay, and then lastly is the vocals. And this is where I switch things up quite a bit with my console one. So I have my console one, and then I'll use a lot of Fab Filter stuff, which I love. But like this, this is a console option settings I saved, and what it is, it's the 4000 low and high cut with a 4000 gate, dynamic shape section, and then a Harrison EQ, which I love on vocals. It just, to me, you can push the high end and it doesn't get harsh. And then I'm using the UAD TubeTech CL1B, which is an amazing vocal compressor, and just hitting it there too. So I don't know if this client wants me to play his mix yet, so I'm not going to get into his vocal. And then just basic EQs and stuff. And then, yeah, so I'll usually just copy and paste a lot of the settings and then change them if need be for different sections. Like you can see on this vocal, there's a lot more going on. There's some other stuff going on. And but this is basically my first settings, and I get everything sounding pretty good with this. And then whatever else needs to be added, I think I might have added a little more compression on this, and I used 1176 there. Which would be cool is if you could load 2 console ones, but I honestly don't use the compressors in the console one all that much. Maybe it's just I like the picture or the GUI or whatever, but I still tend to use the compressors outside. But the EQs I'm using a ton in console one. So there you have it. Someone had asked if I'm still using console one. As you can tell in this mix, I'm using it a lot. And you can also tell that I'm not using as many other plugins a lot. I have a lot of plugins I wish I could sell now because I use this thing so much, and it just gets the job done, and it makes things quicker, and you're just staying creative, which, as you've seen some of my videos, I'm all about staying creative and not getting too messed up with all the technical sides of the mix. So I hope that's helpful, just, kind of my way of using the console one. And if you're looking into getting one or whatever, maybe we'll help you make a decision. And let me know if you got any questions. Just comment below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks.